the review segment of the Three Quarters podcast, your official podcast for the 2018 Rugby Africa Gold Cup. Also remember to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to support your team as they look to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. I'm Jemima Duffield.
And I'm Ngara Kamuya.
So match day 5 finally came. Back to real rugby.
Yeah.
We had Uganda versus Tunisia, and then after that we had Zimbabwe hosting Namibia.
Yeah.
So Uganda beat Tunisia 67-12, and I think, yes, we had seen, or rather we talked about a scenario where Uganda would probably win, you know, having their sevens players back, more experienced players. We saw, you know, an outcome where Uganda would beat Tunisia, but I didn't think it would be this bad. I remember watching that match, and at some point, to be honest, it felt like the Tunisians had given up. Like, you know, line of defense is broken and people are walking back. Like, people are not even bothered to defend. Once one person has been stepped, the rest more or less like, you know what, go and score. But that game, I mean, okay, Tunisia started off well.
Yeah.
I must admit, they started off well. They were running well. You know, you felt like, okay, this is going to be a match to watch. And then once Uganda sort of settled into the game, it was just downhill from then. How was that game for you?
Actually, you've said what I was going to say. Tunisia started with intent, but I mean, first, of course, 67-12, 9 tries from Uganda, 8 converted tries, and 2 penalties. Tunisia started the game with a lot of intent, scoring a try in the first few minutes, Mohamed Ali, and then penalty conversions from Philip Wokorach, and it was downhill from there. And it's exactly what you said. Once Uganda settled into the game, and then things just went off for Tunisia. I think the most important thing in this case, and it's something I've said from the first week of the Rugby Africa Gold Cup, Tunisia's conditioning is really a problem. And Uganda are a very athletic side. I've also said that, and we have talked about it, and we've said that I get the feeling that as we speak, the most entertaining and I think athletic backline that we have right now is the Ugandans. And that came out. That came out on the day. They ran circles around Tunisia. Tunisia's defense was bad. They did not have, you know, any defensive pattern. They didn't have defensive lines. And I was thinking that, knowing what Uganda were going to bring to the game, you expect that Tunisia would then slow the ball down at some point. Either you do it at the breakdown, either you do it with the big forwards, or you just run the ball. They didn't do that on the day, and Uganda really punished them. The athletic capabilities of the Uganda backline was amazing. And for me, the most important thing is that Uganda did not even miss Ivan Magomo.
Yeah, we didn't miss him in that game at all, to be honest.
We didn't miss him in that game, and of course the news came out that Ivan Magomo had been suspended because of participating in the Coronation Sevens. I don't know why he did that, but he was suspended, and as such, Robert Nosinde came in for him, and he stepped up, and he got his guys moving. He got the Pius Ogena, Michael Wokorach, who scored a try, Philip Wokorach, who had a hat-trick. Solomon Okia, who came off the bench, is a 7-star. He got these guys involved, and these guys, I think, in my opinion, are the ones who punished Tunisia. So, yes, we knew that Uganda were going to win, which is what you've said, but we didn't think they were going to win in such a large margin. And it just goes to ask, are Tunisia really putting in effort into these games? Because you just don't get the feeling, especially from a conditioning standpoint. They will be good in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then after that, it just goes downhill. So congratulations to Uganda. It was a well-deserved win, and they played some good rugby. And it's good to see their stalwarts back, in all honesty.
Well, before we move on to the bad man of that match, I would have loved to see the Tunisia that performed against Zimbabwe, who played till the last minute. And Zimbabwe are quite a formidable side, so, you know, I didn't expect to see this from Tunisia, but I guess for them, they need to regroup and look at how to go further and, you know, be better in their games. I know they had a few injured players, but at the end of the day, that is why you're supposed to have a large pool of players, so that when some people are injured, you've got others to step up.
That's true, and that's on the other hand, on the contrary, if you look at Uganda, that's another thing. Of course, we were complaining when the 7th guys left or were not featuring in the 15th team. We say that then Uganda have a problem with regard to the pool of players. But then, to me, the person who's been their best player this season is suspended, and you have his deputy take up the role, and he takes it up very well.
Yep.
That goes to show you that, you know, there's some sort of, I mean, there's some depth, for lack of a better word, in the Uganda team, and it's amazing. So Tunisia, as you said, they need to regroup. They need to think about what they need to do. I think they have two more games remaining, so they need to work on that. As for Uganda, they just build on what they've been doing so far. They have a game against Morocco and now against Zim, so they just build on what they've achieved against Tunisia.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for the bad man of that match,
Yeah.
Mine would be Philip Okerach. That's, I think, a household name for me.
Yeah.
Always sort of impresses when he's on the pitch. Even when he's not having a brilliant day, he's better than your average player.
Yeah.
As you said, 3 tries. His kicks always on point.
Yeah.
I think just having him on the team even just motivates people, uplifts their spirits. So that is my bad man of that match.
I agree with you. PW15, Philip Okerach is always very entertaining to watch. And like we say, sports is entertainment. So it's his flair, his sidestep, his kicking, his fielding as a fullback. He's very comfortable under the high ball, and we saw all that encompassed into this past weekend's performance. Capped up with 3 tries. He converted 8 of the 9 tries. So look, I don't think there's anyone else who matched up to his performance.
Nope.
Yeah.
So the second match of the day was Zimbabwe hosting Namibia.
Yeah.
And this one I remember we talked about last week and had said that it will be an interesting one because Zimbabwe seem to always kind of pull one out of the hat when it comes to Namibia. Even when they don't have such a great season, when they get to playing against Namibia, something happens. And I think that is exactly what happened in this game.
Yeah.
So Namibia winning that game 58-28. But I feel like the scores don't reflect what happened on the pitch in the sense that, I mean, yes, Zimbabwe did concede a few soft tries here and there. Tries that you're like, oof, that shouldn't have happened, you know, lapses in defense, but nothing spectacular really. You never sat down and said, wow, that was an amazing try from the Namibians. But the Namibians just being clinical in their structure, in everything they were doing. You know, everything that we've been saying about them. They've got the structure, they've got the depth in players, of course. So, you know, when they lack some players, they've always got others to fill in. But on the day, it's all about conversion rate. And the Namibians know how to grind out a win. And this is exactly what they did on the day.
Namibia just continuing to show their dominance in the 2018 Rugby Africa Gold Cup. Like you've said, everything, for some reason, is just working for them. The defense, the attack. And I don't think it's luck. I mean, Namibia were in camp last year in December. They've been preparing for this Gold Cup for a very long time. In my opinion, they're the most prepared team. And we are seeing the results of that. Like you said, and I do agree with you, I don't think they did anything spectacular. I just think their ruthlessness in attack is what really helped them because they capitalized on a lot of Zimbabwe's flaws. And that's how they were able to register the 58 points. Of course, there are some things you're asking yourself, really, Zimbabwe, with all the preparations that you guys have made, I mean, how you're conceding such tries? For example, there was a try by the 8th man right off the back of a scrum, you know, in the 5. There were very many missed tackles that resulted in tries, and I feel that that was Zim's main problem. It's not that Namibia won the game. Look, even if Zim had their best game, I think Namibia would still have won that game. But they would have been made to work for that result, one. And had they been made to work for that result, then you ask yourself, then, you know, it could have gone either way.
Yep.
But Zimbabwe just didn't do that on the day. And for me, Zimbabwe in this year's Gold Cup has been a disappointment because I have been following them ever since they got into camp, ever since Peter De Villiers joined their team. And I've seen the amount of preparation that has gone into it. I've seen the amount of work that has gone into it. I just feel that while we would have wanted to see the results in this first year, I don't think Zimbabwe are really looking at this Gold Cup. They were looking at, you know, future. And if they are, then I can put my money on it. They're going to be a powerhouse in a few years. But in this particular Gold Cup, we all thought that they were going into it to put pressure on Namibia for this year's Gold Cup. That doesn't seem to be the case. They are now, I think, the bottom of the table, having lost all their games. It's unfortunate, and I only hope that they would have been able to give Namibia a run for their money. So, in this particular game, I think it's Zimbabwe's mistakes that cost them more than Namibia's clinical. But again, at the same time, Namibia's ruthlessness is what helped them. They were able to capitalize on Zim's mistakes. Those broken tackles really cost Zim.
However, that being said, on the upside, Zimbabwe are the only team that have done this, been able to register that number of points against Namibia.
Yeah.
And I mean, looking at the team, to be honest, with their sevens players back, their attack was a lot better than what we have seen in previous games.
Yeah.
I feel like in the game against Morocco, they would have been a lot better, and against Tunisia even, with those guys on. I'm not, no disrespect to the players that were already in the setup, but in that game, I know Tafadzwa Chitokwindo, and Shane Makombe both scored tries coming off from the
Sevens World Cup.
The Sevens World Cup. So definitely better in attack. Just need to work on that defense, because it doesn't matter how many scores you try, tries you score. Right? I mean, if they score more than you, it's not going to help you at the end of the day.
And they say defense, at least in rugby, defense is what brings out the character of a team. And if you can't defend, then you need to think about it. So Zim, that has been their biggest downfall this Gold Cup. It's been their defense. And against a team that's as clinical as Namibia, you can only expect what's going. You actually 58 points is what you can expect.
Yeah,
that's exactly
definitely going to cost you.
Yeah, that's what happened this weekend.
So bad man of that match, I would go with Johan Trump. For 2 tries in that game, and his attack was, I feel he did very well in terms of it was instrumental for Namibia. Who would yours be?
Mahepisa Jericho, the tall number 5, the second row. That would be my bad man of the week. He was good in the line out. He really dominated the line out. Of course, number 5 typically are the line out generals. But for me, he scored 1 try. He set up another try through broken tackles. That was the most interesting thing for me. And somehow he has some gas. For somebody as lanky as he is, for somebody as heavy as he is, he has some gas. So for me, bad man of that match, Mahepisa Jericho.
That was going to be my second choice. But hey, so well done to them. But I'm looking forward to the next few matches. And people should join us for the preview.
Yes, that's true.
Which will be coming up on Friday.
Yes, that's true.
Guys, remember you can follow us on social media. That is by following us on Instagram, liking our page on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Tamima Duffield.
And I'm Ngaro Kamuye.
See you on Friday.